Although it's not technically fall here in Australia, I thought I would still go ahead and do the fall riding tag just because I'm super pumped for NaNoWriMo next month. This is probably the first time that I'm going to really take myself seriously and I'm actually going to draft something, and I've been planning all October, so I just wanted to do this writing tag. I will leave the original creator down in the description bar below so you can go check that out. Crunching leaves, the perfect sound. What do you like listening to when writing? When I'm getting ready to write, I have a writing playlist on Spotify. I would listen to a couple of songs from there just to get me re-inspired with my own story and to remind myself of my own story, I guess, and to get myself pumped. But when I'm doing the actual writing, I would either listen to nothing and just put headphones in just to kind of cancel noise out, or I would listen to this YouTube channel called ASMR Rooms, which is just a bunch of ambient sounds, and I think they're all around about an hour and a half each. It's the type of white noise that makes me concentrate. I actually used this YouTube channel for my last year of university and it definitely got me through all of my essays. Hot bubbling cider. What's your favorite thing to eat or drink while writing? I don't actually do a lot of eating while I'm writing, but I do drink a lot, and it can be anything really, but my go-tos are usually coffee, green tea, ginger beer, wine, vodka, whiskey, you know, the usual. Bonfires. The perfect night. Name your perfect writing conditions or your perfect writing night. I really like when the world just feels really still, so I do a lot of my writing either really late at night or really early in the morning. I'm trying to figure out my own writing schedule for this year's NaNoWriMo because I know 2 years ago I did a lot of writing really early in the morning and I got up super early before the world was even awake, around like 4 to 6 a.m. and I would do a lot of writing then. But this time around I haven't been able to get up super early, so I do a lot of my writing really late at night when everyone has gone to sleep. So I'm not sure. I think I just prefer when it's like super quiet and super still. I know a lot of people have said that they like when it's raining or storming or really cold outside. I associate that kind of weather with movies and reading books, so I get super relaxed when it's like cold and rainy and I don't want to do any writing when it's that kind of weather. Pumpkin spiced latte, something you used to like but now don't. So I'm going to switch this question around and talk about something that I used to not like doing but now I do, and that is writing dialogue. I used to hate writing dialogue. I used to think that I was so bad at it. I just kept thinking like, I don't know how to talk to humans, I don't know how to do this. But I have to say, over the past few years, I think I've gotten pretty good at it. Halloween, your favorite part of writing a novel? Oh, definitely creating characters. I love characters. I love seeing their arc. I love creating their development throughout the course of my own story. I read a lot of books that are very character driven, so I'm just into characters. Monsters or goblins? What terrifies you most while writing or drafting a novel? The thing that terrifies me would have to be the other half of what makes a story besides characters, and that is plot. I don't know how to write plot. I'm really bad at it. I get super frustrated when I'm trying to come up with my own plots. It's actually something that I'm working on right now and I'm going a little crazy, but yeah. Hey Rides A Bumpy Ride. What do you do to get over a writer's block or get inspired? I get a lot of my writing inspiration from watching a lot of movies. I know I've talked about this before, but I am able to watch movies more as a writer than I am to read a book as a writer. I think for me it's easier to deconstruct a whole movie than it is a book. I don't know why, but when I'm watching movies it's easier for me to see how the plot structure was done and how the character development was done and how, you know, if one character is a juxtaposition of, you know, the theme or you know, all the intricate underlying things that go into a story. I'm able to see that more in movies than I am in books, so I think that's why I turn to movies when I want to get inspired. The other place I go for inspiration is going to sound a little weird, but I watch a lot of interviews with a lot of people. They can be celebrities, actors, musicians, directors, just anyone that have interviews. I watch a lot of interviews because I think it's so interesting to hear other people's stories, and I don't know, you never know where you're gonna get your inspiration, and sometimes some people's like life story can inspire some sort of story of your own. Haunted houses, world building. What are some tips you have on crafting the perfect world? I'm not sure if I'm the perfect person for this kind of question, just because I don't write fantasy. I write mostly in the contemporary world, but the way that I create atmosphere and tone and vibe is through sound. I don't know if it's just the way I notice the world around me, but I definitely use my ears a lot more than I use my eyes, and so that's how I create atmosphere and mood and all that stuff. So that could be a tip. Pumpkins. It all starts with a pumpkin. Do your story ideas start with characters, plots, setting, or something else? I think for me, most of the time it's characters or theme, and when I say characters, I don't mean a fully fledged character will pop up into my head. I mean characteristics. I'm really into personality tests. I love the Enneagram, I love the Myers-Briggs test. I sometimes really also like the horoscopes. Not that I take those things 100%, you know, to heart, but I do think they really help creating characters. And so because I do a lot of research, I get a lot of inspiration of like, okay, for example, I'm a type 9 wing 8, and I would see the type 9 description and I'd be like, oh, wouldn't it be interesting if they were faced with their weakness, which is conflict, I guess, is one of their weaknesses. That's like a very broad, you know, example of something that I would come up with, but that's kind of how I come up with story ideas. It's through characters. And the other one is theme. They either go hand in hand or one of them goes first, but I would come up with theme first. Like, for example, I want to write about loneliness, or I want to write about grief or something, and then I'd be like, okay, so what kind of character would be perfect to have to deal with this kind of grief or this kind of loneliness or feeling neglected or something? What would create the most drama for this particular theme? That's kind of how I come up with story ideas. And I'm losing my voice. And the last question, ghost stories. Share a spooky writing prompt. Okay, do I have to come up with one right now? Write a story where your childhood imaginary friend comes to life and is angry at you because you've neglected them. Is that a prompt? That could be a prompt. Write that and leave it down below. Anyway, that is it from me today. This was a really fun tag. I love talking about my writing, and I don't do it as often as I would like, but I hope you're having a great day, and I will see you soon.